Good evening and welcome to a UTV Live news special. Following Saturday night's murders in Antrim, we have an hour of news and analysis. We'll be joined tonight by all the main political parties for a detailed analysis of who the real IRA are and what they're hoping to achieve by this latest attack. With us, the journalist who took the call from the real IRA saying that they had killed again. And we have the first television pictures of the training camps. And a security expert gives his view on the threat. We'll also be live in Antrim getting reaction on how the community has responded to this double killing in its midst. But first, it was all over in 33 seconds. That's the time it took to kill 2 young soldiers. 2 days of rain have failed to wash away the pool of blood that still lies at the front of Masserine Army Barracks, alongside the shards of glass and chalk outlines of spent bullet cases. The 2 young soldiers cut down in their prime were 23-year-old sapper Mark Quinsey from Birmingham and 21-year-old sapper Patrick Azimkar from Wood Green in London. Also injured, 2 pizza delivery men, referred to as collaborators by the real IRA, who made no apology for trying to kill them. One is a Polish man still fighting for his life, and another, 19-year-old Anthony Watson from Antrim, who was trying to earn some extra money. The soldiers had ordered pizzas and within hours were to be sent to Afghanistan. No doubt they were fearful about what would happen there. Little did they know they would die in a hail of automatic machine gun fire on the doorstep of their barracks, a place where they thought they were safe. Well, there's a real sense of mourning in Antrim tonight as the reality of what happened at the weekend continues to sink in. Some we spoke to described the killers as animals, and police believe people in the community are harbouring the gunmen who carried out the worst terrorist attack since the Omagh bombing. Sharon O'Neill has spent the day following developments of the young soldiers who were too young to die.
These are the 2 soldiers who were murdered in Antrim. Patrick Azimkar and Mark Quinsey were due to fly out for duty in Afghanistan. They were naturally worried about the dangers they may face. Little did they know that danger was closer to home. The men were gunned down on Saturday night as they collected a pizza delivery at the gates of Masserine Barracks on the outskirts of Antrim. They simply wanted something to eat before their long journey. They paid for it with their lives. Prime Minister Gordon Brown came here this morning. He spoke to the men and women who lost their friends in the most brutal way.
I met very brave and courageous soldiers who'd come to tend the dying and those people who were injured. I met one of the soldiers who himself had almost been caught in the incident, shot at. And I saw people who were shocked by what had happened to their friends, but absolutely resilient, that they wanted to continue the service to the country. They wanted to see the murderers brought to justice, and they wanted to send out a message that they too wanted to see the peace that we want to see continue in Northern Ireland with the political process work to its conclusion.
Patrick was 21 and came from London. A talented footballer, he once had a trial for Tottenham Hotspur. His brother James described him as a courageous, strong and a loyal, good friend. Mark was 23 and came from Birmingham. He joined the army when he was 19 and brought with him his dry, brummy wit.
There are no words to express fully our sadness and sympathy at this time, and we simply send our deepest condolences to his family and friends. Mark was a well-respected member of Baverstock and showed great determination in pursuing his chosen career within the army. We remember him as hard-working and committed.
Northern Ireland's top soldier, George Norton, was clearly moved by the tributes left at the spot where his men were killed.
These were magnificent individuals, and we mourn their loss. The military community in general is, of course, shocked by the brutality of the attack. I've spoken to the commanding officer of the regiment in Afghanistan, who tells me that the regiment is saddened, angered, but more determined than ever to get on with the dangerous task that they face over the coming 6 months. They will not allow the actions of a few loathsome individuals to distract them from the job in hand.
But the job in hand for police here is to catch these killers, and soon. It's now emerged more than 60 shots were fired in this attack, in which 2 other soldiers and 2 pizza delivery men were injured. The gunmen were captured on security cameras, and the car used by the killers may provide clues. Police also believe the killers are being harboured.
There is no doubt in my mind that there are people who know information that will be of vital assistance to us in this inquiry, and to use the word harbouring can in some circumstances be strong, but in these circumstances, given that we had an attempted mass murder, I would suggest to you that it's not too strong.
This town is mourning with the families of these young men.
Shouldn't have happened like so, shouldn't have. Not for life.
Almost. Not fit to breathe very fresh air.
Sharon O'Neill, UTV Live.
Well, this, according to the police, was no opportunist drive-by shooting. The real IRA clearly had good information and were highly organised. In just over 30 seconds, they killed 2 soldiers, wounded 2 others, and left 2 pizza delivery men badly injured. Niall Donnelly details how they carried out the ambush.
The soldiers were having a celebratory pizza just before leaving Antrim for Afghanistan, but it ended with a double murder. The terrorists had clearly done their research. They knew fast food deliveries to the Masserine base were not unusual, and that soldiers left it to collect them. 3 separate orders were placed to Domino's Pizza in Antrim at 9:20. 2 of them arrived at Masserine just before 10:20 when the killers opened fire on the unarmed soldiers and delivery men. This murderous attack lasted only about 30 seconds, and the victims stood no chance. The 4 soldiers had come out of this doorway and walked over here to collect their pizza. That's when the 2 gunmen jumped out of their car and opened fire at point-blank range. But it didn't stop there. They continued to fire, even as some of the victims lay on the ground.
Thinking back, it was machine gun fire, and there was quite a few bursts, and then there was a break, and then there was more, 2 or 3 more bursts, and so there was.
It took just 33 seconds to fire over 60 rounds. 2 soldiers lay dead or dying. 2 others were seriously hurt. 1 pizza delivery man was critical, the other badly injured. One question being asked is why the armed civilian guards at the base or the soldiers did not return fire.
Are you suggesting that people should have fired into a close, compact group, including my 5 soldiers?
That's the questions that are being asked this morning, why there was no... Is that the reason it wasn't...
Well, I think people who ask that question need to think through along the lines that I've just suggested.
The car used by the killers is still on Ranaghan Road outside Randallstown. Army technical officers are continuing to examine it, but are moving cautiously for fear it may be booby-trapped. Niall Donnelly, UTV Live, Antrim.
At the Assembly, Peter Robinson and Gerry Adams united in sending their sympathy and condolences to the families of the soldiers murdered at Masserine Barracks in Antrim. Earlier, the Prime Minister held discussions with the party leaders. Our political editor, Ken Reid, now reports.
The Prime Minister arrived at Castle Buildings, where the Good Friday Agreement had been signed 11 years ago. He met the First and Deputy First Ministers and then held separate discussions with the party leaders. He urged all of them to maintain a consensus in the wake of the real IRA atrocity. Gordon Brown said the world admired the progress made here.
I think the message is that this attack has not happened because of the failure of the political process. It's in many ways because of the success of the political process that people are working together and a small number of people want to disrupt something that is working and something that is showing the whole world that Northern Ireland stands together.
Then attention switched here to Parliament Buildings, where each of the main party leaders made a statement outlining their outrage at